It's the Hump Day edition of Weather with a Beat, coming to you from Waikiki, Hawaii. It is 83 degrees for the high today, 71 in Portland, 71 in Seattle, both clear, 72 in Reno, 69 degrees in San Francisco, all the way up to 70 in LA, and sunny, 77 in Las Vegas, 84 in Phoenix, 71 in Albuquerque. Some rain in Denver with a high of just 56 degrees, 63 but sunny in Salt Lake City. In Omaha, Nebraska, 63 with showers. Topeka, Kansas, 76 with rain. Some thunder and lightning in Oklahoma City and 79. Showers in Amarillo and 81. Sunny day in Houston and 87. Some showers and thunderstorms in Dallas and 84 degrees. 86 and sunny in New Orleans. 79 with showers in St. Louis, 65 and sunny in Chicago, 74 in Indianapolis, 85 and clear in Atlanta, Miami, 86 and sunny, Charlotte, 76 and sunny, 83 in Roanoke, and 80 in Washington, D.C., 74 in Philadelphia, 67 but sunny in New York City, and 62 and clear in Boston. It's Wednesday, Hump Day, and that's Weather with a Beat.
Daybreak USA, I'm Jet Williams, and you are in the jet stream. The no-hit fires were burning. A's ace Mike Fiers threw 131 pitches. The Reds didn't hit any of them. Fiers works his second career no-hitter. The A's win 2-0 in Oakland. Elsewhere, White Sox beat the Tribe. Yankees deep six the Mariners. Twins beat the Blue Jays. The Royals defused the Stros. National League style, the Phillies shuffle the cards. Dodgers beat the Braves. Mets take care of the Padres. Going out to the NBA, the Nuggets went on a gold rush. Nikola Jokic scored 25 points and grabbed 19 boards. The Nuggets take a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference semifinals, beating the Blazers 124-98 in Denver. The Raptors now just one win away from a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals after 86ing the Sixers 125-89. Sixers standout Jimmy Butler, 36 points in the loss. Well, the NHL has put one of the Bruins' best defenders on ice. Boston defenseman Charlie McAvoy suspended for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Hurricanes because of a dirty hit during the Bruins' win in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals over the Blue Jackets. Western Conference semifinals, the St. Louis Blues advanced to the Western Conference Finals after outshining the Dallas Stars, a final score of 2-0 in overtime. Now, if you listen really closely, that's the sound of the jet stream passing. And now I'm looking down at my watch and plainly seeing that it is now 35 minutes after the hour here on Daybreak USA.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All-American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-610-5739. 800-610-5739. That's 800-610-5739. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-561-5716. That's 800-561-5716. Again, 800-561-5716.
Welcome back to you and you and you, a do. We are Ron Ray. There was an old adage, and it basically went, it just basically said, democracy is a terrible form of government, but all the others are much worse.
Yes.
I think that's where we're going with that. And with that in mind, we bring on our special guest this morning.
Yes. Dr. Drury Sherrod. I apologize for that. He is the co-founder of Mattson and Sherrod, a jury research firm specializing in trial strategy and jury selection for high-damage civil defense trials. He's also a member of the American Society of Trial Consultants, the American Psychological Association, and the Society for Experimental Social Psychology.
He must have a big door to put all those titles on.
I'm telling you. But his new book is called The Jury Crisis: What's Wrong with Jury Trials and How Can We Save Them? Thanks for joining us, Dr. Sherrod. I didn't realize there was a jury crisis.
Most people don't.
It's
it genuinely
fascinating.
is a crisis, and that's not just a title for a book. It's nothing less than the death of trial by jury that we are seeing. The vanishing jury is a phrase that's often used.
Such an important part of our judicial system, although more and more, as we've seen over the last, few decades, jurists, they're almost afraid in some cases to be a part of them.
But once again, and one of the things that's always stood out in my mind is that people that are on juries come from many different forms of the world, and unfortunately you and I have never been able to sit on a jury because all you have to do is tell somebody that you do talk radio and they don't want you on the jury.
Yeah.
Right, because we basically ask for the death penalty in most speeding tickets. But
that's not true.
But the problem is we are in such a court of public opinion, aren't we? Go ahead.
Talk radio, you mean, or in general?
Yeah, in general.
Media.
But I think, you guys as a host and a hostess of a show wouldn't be allowed because you would be a celebrity and they'd be afraid you'd be an opinion leader and you would be a wild card and they couldn't predict where you would take the jury. So they wouldn't want to turn the jury over to one of you. So,
I'll use Ray as an example here. So they don't want smart people on juries. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I'm saying they don't know. It turns out that juries, there's a lot of biases in who shows up for a jury summons. Turns out that the rich and the poor, the rich people get out of it. Poor people never get their summons. Once they show up, lots of strikes for cause, peremptory strikes. You end up with not a very representative sample of a jury of one's peers, and that's one thing that should be fixed.
I agree. It seems as though in so many trials that we've seen, and I'll just use an epic one from the last couple of decades, and that is the O.J. Simpson trial. Well, we didn't see a bunch of football players or wealthy golfers sitting on that jury trial.
That's partly controversial because the state wanted to have the trial conveniently located in the downtown area where it overrepresented minorities and poorer people. And so I think the statistics on that case were 85% of African Americans around the country thought that O.J. was innocent. And I think there were 8 African Americans on that jury. So it wasn't hard to map the data onto the jury panel. And I told my friends it would be acquittal by noon, and it was.
That was the first time, though, I believe, that the public ever heard of having people in court to analyze the people who were being accepted as jurors. That was a whole new thing, and a whole new science.
And in fact, there was a shadow jury in that trial, and I think the shadow jury were recruited to match the demographics of the real jury, and then they were there every day and interviewed every day about how the case was going on. And that's often done. Shadow jury.
Interesting. I never knew that was even possible. I've never heard that term before.
Oh, you've maybe seen some of it on. Have you ever seen the Dr. Bull TV show? That's a show on CBS that is about often.
Anyway,
how
How tough was it to get jurors for the El Chapo jury?
That's really interesting. I don't know about the jury selection, but I do know that whoever's on the jury, they're facing a huge task because there were 3 months of testimony and then 3 hours of a judge's instruction. And if you've ever heard a judge's instruction, they're extreme legalese. It's very hard to follow. And to get 3 hours of it, I'm sure these people may have dozed off. And then once the trial was over, the 3 months of trial, they were confronted with, I think, 8 pages of verdicts. They had arrived at 53 verdicts on 8 counts and 27 subcounts, and it's almost beyond the capacity of the brain, which is what my book says is the problem with trial by juries today.
Yeah.
So the jury trial began with the Magna Carta in 1215, and for 800 years, their jury trials were very simple. So it's the people of the village or people in an area would be recruited. They would come together, and for most of that time, they supplied the facts. There weren't even witnesses and evidence. It was just people. They were asked, "Well, what do you think about old Godric here, who may have stolen a sheep and poached on his neighbor's land?" And they would talk about it for a few minutes and then reach a verdict and then go on to another case.
And another part of it, of course, with the system the way it's set up now, sir, is you have to have a unanimous decision. I can't get 12 people to agree whether or not the sun is out or not.
That's so true.
Well, in some states, on some type of cases, it's, say, 9 out of 12 would allow you to reach a verdict. The more serious the case is, the more likely it is to be unanimous.
Are judges getting frustrated with the current climate of things?
That's such an interesting question because lots of judges have been interviewed about how few trials they get. For example, federal judges, of all the cases filed in a year in a federal court, it would be about 5 cases per federal judge in a year. And so some federal judges are even resigning, saying that their jobs are just too boring, that they walk the hallways of the courthouse and hear their feet echoing on the marble floors. So judges are... Lots of articles out there about this vanishing jury. It's not just an extreme attention-getting title for a book. It's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is,
sit right there, if you would, jury doctor. We got to pay some rent here, and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about what's the alternative. What can we do if we don't have jury trials and the court of public opinion? All that and more when we continue on
Daybreak USA.
Welcome back. At 12 minutes before your hour, we're joined by Dr. Drury Schrod this morning, and the name of the book is The Jury Crisis. Once again, if they put me on a jury trying, let's just take an example, a doctor who was botching up surgeries, how the heck would a guy like me, just John Q. Public, have enough knowledge to decide whether or not somebody should go to jail for 40 years of their life? How can lawyers feel good about putting that kind of pressure on just common people?
Well, it's a good question because it happens all the time. In our jury research firm a few years ago, we worked in a pharmaceutical case involving a drug that there were allegations that it could be harmful. There was a defense that it was not harmful. But then I interviewed, after the trial, the actual trial, I interviewed the jurors on the trial and spent several hours talking to jurors. And I remember talking to one man who said that in this case, there was a whole week of scientific testimony. This man said, the science went over my head. I'm as blue-collar as you can get. I'm not Einstein. I couldn't understand anything about the science. And he said other people on the jury felt the same way. So instead of paying attention to these intricate scientific arguments presented by both sides, the jurors just decided that this woman received the drug one day, the next day she had some symptoms, the drug must have caused it. And so they basically found a simple story that bypassed all the scientific information and allowed them not even to have to consider it because they didn't understand it.
Now, with both sides... please continue.
I was just going to say that trial by jury has existed for 900 years since the Magna Carta, and it worked just fine as long as everything was quite simple. But as cases got more complicated, it became much harder for the